Alright, so now we're ready to add some shadows to our letters. So to add your shadows, you need to think about your light source, and I'm going to have my light source, I'm just going to draw it real quick up there in the corner to remind myself that my light source is coming from the right. So that means that my shadows are going to be on the left side of my letters. So we're not going to make great big shadows, but what you want to do is just thicken up the left side if you're doing your light source on the right, and of course if you're doing your light source on the left, then you'll be making the right side a little bit thicker. Okay, so you're just going to go through and thicken up those edges. Now you want to make sure that you don't forget any of the edges. So for example, this C, there's going to be a shadow in this little area too where the light is not going to hit it, and then it'll kind of fade off into where the light would hit it. Okay, so what you can do is you can create your shadows, and then you can check in the reference sheets. There's a sheet in there called let's see, it's probably called something like how to add shadows to your letters, and in that reference sheet it shows what your letters should look like if your light source is on the right, and what your letters should look like if your light source is on the left. So you can go ahead and add your shadows, and then you can look at those reference sheets to make sure that you didn't forget any parts of your letter. So for example, with this R, we would see a shadow right here, but we would also see a shadow inside. Okay, so you want to make sure that you use those reference sheets to check and make sure that you remember to put shadows in all the areas that you need to shadow. So once you're finished doing that, your paper will look something like this. So you can see how adding those shadows gives it some depth. My light source was over here, and I just left that there to remind myself that I needed to be putting shadows on this side of all of my letters. So you can see where the shadows are. And make sure that you check those sheets so that you don't forget to add shadows into the inside part of your letters too, because it's not just on the edge of your letter, it's anywhere where the light source is not going to be hitting. So you want to make sure that you check, and then you'll know that you have shadows in all of your letters and that you're showing some depth. So, excellent. Go ahead and make those shadows, and then we'll see what's next.